Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the weekly reset for week number 26 of Dragonflight Season 2. Now, today's episode is going to be very different to what we're used to. We're going to talk about the trading post because it is the 1st of November, so we've got a whole new month. And we're also going to finish up today by talking about Blizzcon. And I'm going to go over some of my predictions and some of the things I'm kind of hoping for, but they're probably never going to happen. Along with that, we have some raid team updates. We are going to talk a little bit about the Mythic Plus team. We're going to touch on Season 3. And of course, I'm going to give you the update on my ADHD medication and how things are going. So a little bit different today. We're going to end by talking about BlizzCon, but let's go take a look at the trading post. So this is the Paladin stuff that I wasn't sure about. I decided to save it because I don't know how much I'm going to be playing the Paladin, so I saved that. That's irrelevant. We don't need to talk about that. We have the Spectral Griffin, which apparently I've already got. I believe the Horde is the Bat. I don't know. It's the Wind Rider. Okay, so these are the two you get, Horde and Alliance. I don't remember when I got these. I presume it's stuff that we got a long time ago, but I mean, they're pretty cool. Do I use them? No. Am I going to use them? No. So both of these mounts go for 650 tenders. It doesn't show here. I've got the Wildhead page open next to me because, well, I've got them, so I can't actually see how much they go for. Next on the list, we have Standard of the Guardian, which is a two-handed staff with a nice little raven on top, actually. I like the raven, but I'm not quite sure. Like, the rest of it kind of looks kind of basic. The top of, like, the red colors and stuff, like, the top of it gives me sort of the Revendreth sort of feel from, what's that expansion we all love? Shadowlands, of course. In fact, the Raven along with it kind of gives me that Revendreth feeling. Not something I'm going to go and get, but of course, if you're into that, by all means. And I think paired with that, if we take a look at the pet as well, the pet kind of gives me the same sort of vibe. Maybe something that should have been available for Halloween, I'm not sure, but yeah. Drazkazet the Raffle? Is that how it's pronounced? I don't know, man. But yeah, both the staff and the pet go for, again, 650 tenders. And now we take a look at the Swift Chevra that I've been able to boast and gloat about for many years because it was many years ago. We had a refer a friend and this was one of the rewards. And unfortunately now, I believe, because I've already got it, I need to look at Wowhead, you can get it for 550 tenders. It's not one that I use a lot. I used to use it on my rogue quite a bit. It's not one I use a lot now because I don't really play my rogue so much. But this was definitely one that I could get on, and not a lot of the players that I played with had it. So it was really nice to have. And now it can be yours too. That makes me sad. All right, moving on to some Warlock-themed weapons. We have Instruments of the Alluring Call. I think I pronounced that correctly. We have a dagger. We've got an offhand. Well, I can equip them both at the same time. I didn't actually realize that. And then we have a two-handed staff, I believe. So obviously, if you pay 500, you get all of them. This might actually be one I pick up for my Warlock. I'm not sure because they all look pretty good. They all go together. I'm not sure if I'm going to be using a staff. I mean, everything's pretty viable when it comes to using one hand, offhand, and a staff these days. I need to think about the transmog that I'm going to use because it needs to be kick-ass. We need a good transmog for the Warlock challenge. Next, we have Longbow of the Twisted Grove. This one actually looks pretty cool, but again, I don't think I've got the transmog to go with it. Can't see it very well. This one goes for 500 tenders. Don't really play Hunter, so probably not going to pick it up anyway. Kind of gives me that Legion feel with the Fel. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, I don't believe monks have gotten much love over the last few months of trading posts, so they do have a couple of staffs available. This one actually looks really cool. These are available for 500, so again, spend the 500, you get all three of these. The other staff is, I guess, more of a Mistweaver, sort of Jade Forest type looking thing with the flower. I think it could go with some. I haven't really got the monk transmog that would suit it. And then we have a fist weapon, which again, is this one of those fans that you open and you fan yourself to cool yourself down? That actually looks pretty cool. It also reminds me, like the black bits on it, it reminds me of is it a two-handed axe that you get from Shah or some boss in Mr. Pandaria? I can't remember. It just reminds me of that for some reason. It looks pretty cool. I might actually pick this up because I do love my monk, and we're going to touch on the monk a little bit later. And this one is called the Possessed Watcher Arsenal. I should probably name them, right? Oh, it's a good job I'm on my warrior because warriors get some love this month too. We have the Savage Champion's Aggression. Again, 500 tenders. You get all 3 of them. We got a nice little shield. Not sure about the plants and stuff on it though. I mean, personal preference at the end of the day. We have is it a one-handed sword? Yes. I don't even feel like they go together, to be honest. I mean, you can make it work, but the fact that you've got like the plants and stuff around it, I'm not quite sure. I'm not quite sure. And then we have a two-handed sword, which, again, sort of a little bit different to the sword. This one looks okay. I'm not quite sure I'm going to be picking this one up, but yes, it's all right. Oh, the warlocks actually get some love too. This could this go with the weapons and stuff? I presume it's meant to be, right? So we get a headpiece, we get some shoulders, and we get a waist. It kind of threw me off because the icons look like they're like red and silver, whereas they're actually more purple, so I'm not sure. And these are the jewels of the Alluring Call. So yeah, the Alluring goes with what we had before, the Alluring Call. You think these will go with it? Maybe the staff? I'm not sure. I mean, that's got red on it, but that's not red. I'm confused. I like the shoulder, like with the tongue coming out of the shoulders. That looks pretty funny. I think I might just have to get this because of the challenge coming up, and well, I gotta look the part. I think I need to have a couple of them and maybe swap it. I really don't know. I kind of just like skimmed over the face. I didn't really give it much thought, but it actually looks pretty cool with like the little bright pinky purple eyes. I'm not so sure about the belt with the dangly golden chains, but I think I could make this work with something. And this one you can pick up for 450 tenders. Warriors receiving some more love to go with their weapons. Again, like the color of the icons throws me off, but this one, same as the others, and I believe it's the same as the other months as well. You get headpiece, shoulder piece, and the waist, the belt. 450 tenders. I'm struggling to picture in my head what this would go with. I don't really like the helmet. The shoulders are okay. The belt is actually pretty decent. I think the belt could go with quite a few things. It's just the golden bits that's going to throw me off with what I've got anyway. It's okay, but again, I don't think I'm going to get this one. Oh, I just clicked on this one and straight away I was like, I think I need to get this. It goes with a couple of things that I've already got, and I'm struggling for transmog on my monk. And transmog just does so much. Like if you have a decent transmog, at least for me, I feel much better about playing it, if that makes sense. I don't know, for me personally, the transmog helps. I kind of I like aspects of the helm, and I'm sort of and ahhing about the helm. I like the green face. I love like the hair coming out the back. I'm not so sure on the helmet itself. The shoulders are fine. The belt is pretty cool. I like the green little bobbles. I don't know what you call them actually. But the Possessed Watcher Guys, is that how it's pronounced? Again, 450 tenders. I think I might be picking this one up because I would like to play a little bit more monk in maybe the second half of season 3. This one I saw, and I mean, it's funny. I think you put it down and players can click on it and you pick up a sword. Yeah, I think I've seen this toy. I think this is a pretty old one, right? We've had it in the past. It's pretty funny. I'm not usually one for toys and pets. I might actually get this one though, because I love like the colorful weapons, and yeah, this one looks pretty cool. So of course this is the foam sword rack, and you can get your hands on this for 425 tenders. Moving on, we have Fang of the Mountain, which is a one-handed sword. This one actually looks pretty cool, and again, I think I've got something fairly similar. And the fact that I guess a lot of the characters I play can actually use this, like my warrior, my demon hunter mainly. You've got the rogue as well. I love the effect that this gives, like the purple glow and stuff, and obviously demon hunter's purple. It does look fairly similar to something, and I can't put my name on it. I can't remember what it is, but I've got something very, very, very similar. But yeah, 400 tenders. I think I'm going to pick this one up as well. Oh man, I bought so much from last month's. I might be broke after this. Next up, we have a shield for 400 tenders, and that is the Ruby Fellfire Bulwark. Is that how it's pronounced? That's the same as... Is the naming similar to the big shield with the spikes? That's Bulwark as well, right? Again, I think this goes with the theme that the rest of the warrior stuff has been given this month. I'm not a fan personally. Maybe some of this would work well with the chainmail tabards that we got from last month, because I did pick those up as well, and it's similar color scheme, I guess. I could make it work, but I personally don't feel like I'm gonna get this one. But you never know. I've got a month to decide. I do love Prop Warrior, so this could be something I use. Moving down to some of the cheaper options, we have a two-handed sword, Loyal Blade Master's Greatsword. It is 225 tenders. And this one, I don't know if anyone's played Warcraft 3, but there was, I believe, a hero class that you could play, and it was like a Blade Master, and they did their like warrior whirlwind, and this is kind of like the arms warrior look that it had, and I loved those back in the day, and this just reminds me of that. I'm kind of hoping that you can get it in like a different color, like the little tassel bit at the end. I think they had them different colors back in the day. There was like blue, red, and green. I really can't remember, but yeah, I not usually one to get like the lower weapons down in the trading post, but I think I might have to pick this up. And because it is a two-handed sword, and I usually don't play arms, I need to give it a go, but I can hold two of them as Fury, and I love Fury. I think I'm gonna pick this one up, but we'll see. I've got a month to decide. Oh god. So we have the luxurious Niffen hat, and this one is I think my orc looks pretty dapper, don't you? I don't usually pick these up, but my warrior is known to have a pretty janky transmog, so I might actually buy this. Who knows? We might actually do some community transmog competitions where, I don't know, we put like the worst transmog for 1 month. Maybe the next month we have the best looking transmog. We definitely got to do something with transmogs, and something goofy is on the list. You can pick this up for 200 tenders. I should probably save my tenders, but it's only 200. It's got like little bell or something at the top. It's so goofy. Moving down, we have Sinister Fell Staff. This is for 175 tenders. Of course, it is a two-handed staff. Pretty basic if you're into that sort of thing. I kind of like some of the basic stuff. I don't really like the profession hammers and stuff like that, but stuff like this, it just gives me that old school, like classic feel. Probably not something I'm going to pick up. I don't play a lot of casters because I suck at casters, but I don't know. I think quite a lot of you guys might actually like the sort of basic branchy look. The Mechanized Skull Crusher is available for 150 tenders. This is a one-handed mace. I kind of like the animation. Again, it's something that I'm probably not going to get, but I mean, Enhanced Shaman could make use of these, maybe. Kind of funny though. I like it. I like it. Moving on to something else that I like the look of, and that is the shield, More of Rage. You can get this for 150 tenders, and personally it's a little bit on the smaller side for my orc. I love the like the lava effect coming out. The color scheme's really nice. It goes with some of the stuff that I've already got for my warrior. I feel like it's a little on the low side for me. It would definitely fit my warrior, I feel, with some of the transmogs that I've got. It's a little on like the darker side with some red added in. But I feel like it's too small. Again, probably something I'm not going to pick up, but who knows? Now, these I get every month, regardless. I get them all because I feel like over the years, once you accumulate more transmog on all of your characters, because like I play a lot of characters, I'm probably going to change at some point. I might even play a lot of casters, who knows? But the backs, the capes, these are available for 100 tenders, and I always pick them up because they're usually good at going with something. So again, we've got the cape and the headpiece that comes with it, which is basically a scarf. Oh man, I'm going to butcher this one. This is the Wanderer's Sepia Trappings. No idea. And then we have the Vague Bonds Sepia Threads. Butcher me in the comments. I deserve it. But yeah, I always pick these up. I kind of feel like they go with quite a lot of different transmogs and classes. I kind of like the Wanderer, this survival look. It's a shame because survival look kind of, for me personally, resonates with Hunter, and you guys know how I feel about that. But yeah, both at 100 tenders each. I'm definitely going to pick these up. And then we get on to some of the stuff that I usually avoid that I've spoken about before. Some of the generic, very basic, like crafting tools or whatnot. We have the Acolyte's Etched Warhammer to begin with at 75 tenders. This is a two-handed mace. I don't really know what else to say about this. I'm never too excited when we get to the bottom of the list because it's usually just a bit meh. We have the Gnomish Liquid Transfer Apparatus. So it's what, I don't know, transferring water from a well or something. I really don't know. 75 tenders. Again, not much to say on that. Next, we have the razor-edged kukri. Oh, God, butchering everything today. This is, of course, a one-handed sword, although I guess you could mistake it for a, well, it's a bit bigger than a dagger, I guess. It's actually pretty cool, but again, I don't think I'm going to use it in any of my transmogs. Again, you can get your hands on this for 50 tenders. Moving down, I saw this. Oh, God. Straight away, I saw on the back, it just looked like eyes, like a little face. It made me laugh. So this is the Shawl of Flowing Magic. Looks pretty cool. I typically don't like the split cloaks. I like cloaks in the game for my transmogs. It's very rare that I go without one, but I don't like the split ones. Like personal preference. This is 50 tenders, so again, pretty cheap. I do like the color scheme. The colors I really like. They go well. Probably not something I'm going to get. Next up, we have Tide Caller's Cinch. I think that's how it's pronounced. This is a male waist. Again, this might go with the survival look. I looked at it to begin with, and I actually thought monk, but then it's male, so it's obviously not. It doesn't really give me shaman vibes. It's more of a survival thing for me, because again, like the brownie colors, I guess. And I'm not playing my hunter, so probably not going to get this either. Oh dear, I'm going to butcher this one. The Crockle Gazam roast me in the comments. Again, for 50 tenders, this is a two-handed polearm. For a basic sort of weapon and very cheap. Doesn't actually look bad, but again, I do want to play a bit more of my monk, but in terms of transmog, I think I want something a bit more flashy, maybe a bit more color. I'm not going to buy anything just yet, but I'm probably going to pick up quite a few things. If I'm honest, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to save. I might actually just ditch the paladin weapons for now. Maybe they'll come back later. I presume everything within the trading post is going to get recycled and come back at some point, so I don't think you need to worry too much about that. It's a shame that everything is so limited and you can't just buy it all, but it is what it is. And I presume they're probably going to start selling tenders on the store very soon. And last but not least, we have the Arsenal Cosmic Weapon Cache that you can get your hands on for absolutely nothing. All you have to do is, well, just play the game really and unlock your rewards. So just like every other month, all you have to do is pretty much kill bosses, quests, this, that, and the other, earn points towards getting the log filled up. Now, I don't know if there is a way in game, but I can't show you all the weapons. So I'm going to pop this picture on the screen now, and you basically get access to a dagger, a sword, and a staff. Personally, I'm not very hyped for these. They don't look very appealing. I'm probably never going to use them, but it's free. I kind of feel like the chevron mount probably would have been more exciting. So that's everything for November's trading post. Let me know what you guys are most excited for. I'm not excited for anything. You guys get the chevron. I'm still salty. Up next, I am very, very happy to let you guys know that we are moving forward with the raid team. Bloodleth put a post out yesterday highlighting a few things. He's talked about the days and times that we will be raiding. Plus, we talk a bit about the holiday period as well, because we're obviously not going to raid over Christmas. I don't want to raid over Christmas. There's some of you that will want to. By all means, go and do it yourself. But in terms of the core team, we're not going to raid over Christmas. So if anyone is interested in joining the core team before we open it up to the entire community, there is all the information you need on the Discord. It is in the warcraft category. You can go under raid chat. Days and times are listed, the difficulty, the plans. He's touched on the loot rules and the general rules. There is so much to cover. I'm not going to bother going over it all. All of the information is in the raid chat channel. If you have any questions, you can either message Bloodleth, Avo, or Urtimus. Those are the guys that are running the community raids. So if you have any questions, I mean, you can message a mod, but you will get directed straight to those three. Same sort of thing goes when I'm live. I can answer maybe very basic stuff, but I mean, if it's stuff like interested in joining, or I don't know, I can't really answer the majority. I understand it's probably unavoidable. I'm going to get a lot of questions live on stream. They will be streamed live as well, so you can watch if you're not actually involved. One thing I just wanted to touch on though, the core team is obviously a very organized group. We're going to have some rules in place. We're going to look to clear as quick as possible, I believe on heroic version. By doing this, the community then acquires the knowledge, experience, and gear to then be able to open it up to everyone within the community. And therefore we can bring perhaps those that have got no raid experience or not had the opportunity to jump into a raid, or those that perhaps, you know, don't get the time to play, or by then we should be able to do that. So I'm very excited to open it up to everyone. And of course, the rules when it comes to community raids, they will be completely relaxed. And I just want to specify now that I will quickly touch on loot rules for the community raids once they are open. Obviously, the core group has some pretty strict rules because we don't really want like healers rolling on tank stuff and whatnot. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? But once the community raids are in full swing and you guys can pretty much bring whatever you want, you can bring one character one week, another character another week, the loot rules will be very relaxed. So if on the first boss you want to roll for something to do with tanking, absolutely fine. Second boss, healing, that's absolutely fine. The only thing I will specify, you do not roll on a bit of gear for someone else. You do not need on a bit of gear that you don't need simply to trade to someone else. We don't want any of that, and if you are caught doing that, you won't be involved in any of the raids going forward. I just thought that was something worth specifying just in case, because I've had a lot of questions regarding like loot causes so many issues within raids. But again, if you guys have any questions regarding the core group or the community raids or anything to do with the raid at all, you can message Bloodleth, Avo, or Artemis. And I believe we are actually lacking ranged DPS for the core team. So if you guys are interested, we do raid on a Thursday. The times you can see in the Discord. Go check it out. Send the guys a message. Man, I can't wait to start. Talking about ranged DPS, I am actually looking for one for our Mythic Plus team. Ideally, you would be 3k experienced and obviously a ranged DPS. Off spec not required, but it would be nice from time to time if a member's perhaps unable to attend. I was asked about the experience bit, and I think because I'm probably the least experienced and I have a couple of characters at 3k for season 2, it probably makes sense that the next person, the ranged DPS, is also around the same level as myself at least. I am willing to be flexible and give those a go, so please, even if you aren't 3k, please don't hesitate. Send me a message on Discord, let me know what class spec you would be willing to bring. Provide the relevant links to, I don't know, either WoW logs or Raider.io. But please make sure that character is ready for season 3 because we want to push from the get-go. We don't want to mess around. And it would probably be very helpful if your character that you're wanting to play with on the team is also raiding because, well, we all know how strong and powerful these raid trinkets and items have been. All right, I think that's all I'm going to discuss in terms of the team. Season 3 itself, the Bastion sound pack will be available within the first couple of weeks. We did sit down this weekend. We recorded the sounds that I was missing for season 2. Obviously, going into season 3, things are going to be a little bit different. I am relying on the causes, weak auras. There might be a few things that I need to go in and tweak. I can obviously tailor them towards me. So if it's like spread, I could just tell it to run away from everyone, I guess. I don't know. But I'm going to look to have that done as soon as possible. So that will be available to Twitch subs and Patreons. And touching on season 3 in terms of Mythic Plus, if you're looking for people to play with and push, I highly recommend you join the Discord server. The EU and NA LFG channels it's been incredibly active, even through these periods where not many people are playing. But yes, the Discord will be very active for season 3. I highly recommend you jump on that if you're looking for people to play with when it comes to Mythic Plus. I will be very active in the first few weeks. I have the team. Their availability is going to be a little different, so there will be opportunities to play with me as well. I'm not always going to be pushing those higher keys because, well, we're gonna need the fragments, right? Is it fragments or is it just crests now? I can't remember, but either way, I'm going to need to grind some of the lower keys anyway, so you guys will have the opportunity to come and play with me as well. I won't just be jumping on like the sub channel or whatever. I will be in an open channel. Obviously, if you see 5 members in a channel, don't just jump in and start talking. Respect that they might be in a run already as it is. But if you guys do join like a 5-man, remember that you are owner if you create your own channel, so you can restrict that and stop people from joining anyway. All right, that's pretty much it for season 3. ADHD update hasn't really been much of a change, to be honest. I'm still rationing my meds. There's still a shortage. They haven't contacted me to say that there's any coming soon. Still currently going through all of my 30s. I'm on a 40 today. Once my 30s are done, I'm going to go do my 40s. I'm kind of saving my 70s for at the beginning of the season when I need that kick. But yeah, hopefully soon it becomes more available and I don't have to ration anymore. And I can go back to 70s every day, which is what I should be on. It's frustrating, man. But it is what it is. Other people out there have it way worse than me, and I've still got some medications, so it's not It's not the end of the world. All right, BlizzCon. We're going to talk about BlizzCon now. So this Friday, I will be on the Discord. You guys are more than welcome to hang out with me. I'm going to create a like a watch party group, I think. I don't know if I'm going to stream it on the Discord or we just watch it individually together. I really don't know how I'm going to do it, but I will create a channel. You guys are welcome to join. I'm going to go on there. We're going to talk about lots of stuff, obviously. On Saturday, obviously, I stream. We do the Saturday social. I will be doing keys this Saturday, so if anyone wants to join, feel free. There is no time walking, so there's no excuse. And we haven't really had vaults for a couple of weeks, so kind of need some keys. But right after we end the stream on Saturday, I believe that's when they start the BlizzCon stuff for Saturday, so I'm probably going to have some food. May end a little early if I have to, and then I'm going to jump on the Discord again, and once again, you guys can come and join me for that. All right, now we get down to the juicy part of the BlizzCon. My predictions. I've got a few predictions, and there's a few things that I want, or I feel like we need it soon. And they're not necessarily things that I want. They're things that I think a lot of the player base want and would benefit the game. So, of course, we are going to get a expansion reveal, and with all of the leaks, like there's been so many different leaks. I don't believe any of them, but I have this sneaky feeling that it is actually something to do with dwarves. There's been a couple of leaks. I can't remember the names. I think one of them's Avalon or something like that. And I don't think that one's necessarily true, but there have been like 2 or 3 around dwarves. I sort of feel like it is actually going that way. And weirdly enough, the guys have been on at me about dwarf master race because of their ratio and this, that, and the other. It's so good for Mythic Plus. Dilly, you should play a dwarf. You guys suck, but I mean, if dwarf is still like master race for Mythic Plus, and their ratio is just ridiculous, right? It's a must for some of the higher Mythic Plus players. Obviously, my Demon Hunter can't be a dwarf. Maybe in the future. I think if the expansion is about dwarfs, I'm going to have to play a dwarf. I also get this sneaky feeling that I think we're going to see more of Frau. I think Frau's going to feature in the next expansion. That's my predictions anyway. We haven't really seen much of him in a while. It's a little weird that we're not seeing so much of him now because it's like the elements and stuff is like the shaman. The aspects kind of give me that shaman-y feel, you know? I know it's more of like the druid and the aspects, right? But I sort of feel like shaman also fits in there very well. Plus, Frau is like my all-time favorite, so I would very much like to see Frau return. Along with that, just looking at my notes, I've gone with Drakthir being opened to more specs. And I've not spent too long thinking about this, but I think of some of the races we have that are open to many, many specs. So we have like warrior, for example, we have rogue, is it like mage and maybe priest? I think those sort of like rough 4 specs would be a good start, maybe, or maybe they'd go more that caster route, so maybe open it to a mage. I don't know, they've got the casting animations as it is, so it makes sense. But who knows? Again, I do predict that they're going to open up Drakthir. I don't know how soon that's going to be. That might be within this season. We might get it in a mid-season patch, maybe 10.2.5. But I really think they're going to announce this at BlizzCon. I really do. And about time too, right? Along with this, I also predict that they are going to announce more dragon riding mounts. And that's not new ones. I'm talking about the old ones that don't have that ability at the minute. Along with that, I also think, and I've spoken about this for a while now, I don't know if it has been confirmed, I really can't remember actually, but an extra ability in terms of like the dragon riding abilities that you've got, I feel like you should have like a stop start button to switch modes so we can use the dragon riding mounts that we have now and use them as a normal mount and just like hover, right? But I presume the speed that we hover and fly in that mode would be like the old style. I'm not quite sure how they're going to do stuff like the 2-man rocket that I love using typically when I'm playing with Keita, really. And stuff like, I don't know, Ashes of Alar, having that as a dragon riding mount would actually be pretty cool. It'd give me a reason to use it as well. But yeah, I definitely feel like they're going to talk more about the mounts and open it up. We're just going to have to wait and see, I guess. Those are really the only predictions I have. I don't really know what else they're going to mention. I'm not convinced they're going to mention whether or not this is like the last raid tier. I'm under the assumption it is the last major patch, which it could mean a couple of different things. It could mean a season 4, maybe with the way Shadowlands was, with the fated raids, and we rotate between them. Might be pretty cool because it might be good to see a Grief Torch back in the mix. But again, another season without another raid and we're having to recycle stuff. I'm all for recycling raids and stuff, but when you've just done them for the last 3 seasons, it's a bit meh. But the items I'm kind of like, I would be okay for. The items like Grief Torch specifically. And I might actually get a beacon on one of my characters. Who knows? My hunter don't count. There is one thing that maybe some haven't considered, and that's the fact that season 3 might actually be the last season, and they might do an earlier launch for this expansion. Who knows? That's not something I'm predicting. I personally think we're going to get like a fated season 4, to be honest, and it's going to stay the way it is, but who knows? The last thing that I think they're going to mention is class reworks. Now, I've not given this too much thought, but there are a couple of classes that I kind of feel like maybe more towards Mythic Plus. They're a bit out of touch and a bit out of date. The first one is the Monk. I think all 3 specs could do with a bit of a lift. I think more so Windwalker and Mistweaver, because I played all 3 of them, not to a very high level, don't get me wrong, but I've played all 3. I love all 3. Monks don't really have much in terms, like, I'm talking strictly Mythic Plus now. They don't really offer the group much. Like, I feel like they offer loads in terms of like their CC. They've got ring, paralysis, they've got leg sweep. I think they're great, but they're just missing something. And I feel like at times, all 3 specs can be a bit clunky and just incredibly outdated. I think they need a bit of a lift, a bit of a boost. So I think Monk is probably on the list for the up and coming class reworks. Along with that, because I wanted to add another, I thought about it, and I've not seen much of like Death Knights over the last couple of seasons. They're not very popular. They do have the battle res. Apart from that, what else do they offer? Like very niche situations. You might have something like the slappy hands, the AoE grip. You've got the chains to slow. I'm trying to think of the buffs. I can't really think of like the buffs that they bring to the team. And you don't see them a lot in Mythic Plus for a reason. So I feel like they probably could do with a bit of a change as well. I've spoken to a couple of DKs over the last 3 or 4 months about Frost and Unholy, mainly because I'm a melee DPS, and they're classes that I've not really dabbled in too much, or at all really. I think one of them said that Frost, you really need to play around, like you need to be really careful. It's very, very unforgiving. Unholy's a bit weird. It doesn't really play well in a Mythic Plus environment. For raid, it's great, but I think for a Mythic Plus environment, from what I've been told, it doesn't sound good. So I feel like, yeah, maybe they might be on the list too. All right, now we're gonna jump in to the exciting stuff. And I've got 3 things on this list that I feel like I either want or I think they should do. And as a Demon Hunter main, I'm gonna begin with a Demon Hunter 3rd spec, whatever that may be. I don't know if perhaps they give us a second tank. They play very different to Vengeance. Don't know if they give us a second melee. I've spoken about in the past, maybe they could split Momentum into its own one. And I mean, it would make sense even more now with Inertia and Momentum. And then you have just the normal Havoc, whereas it's like tailored towards the no mover build. I think that would work very well. I could also see a world where we play as a ranged DPS. And I mean, they've gone very heavily into this like throw glaive aspect. Maybe we could just continuously throw glaives. I really don't know. Support, I'm not really sure of. I don't really want to see the Demon Hunter in a support role. I don't think that would sit well with me. I know they sacrifice everything, but not their damage. But talking about the support roles, kind of a nice segue into the next one, because it would be nice if they start talking about more support specs. Now, I don't know if this is something they add in or tweak what we currently have. The only one that I can really think of from the top of my head would be Bard. I don't know a lot of other support style like classes or specs. I think this would have to be given to a class that's already in the game and not a new class altogether, because we've only just got the Evoker, so I don't feel like they're going to put anything else in anytime soon. Are there any support classes or specs that I'm missing from this? Because I've tried thinking of many, and I've looked at other games, and I just can't think of any. But it would be nice if they did speak about it, and unfortunately the Q&A, I think they're doing like the following week. It's not a live Q&A, which is a bit weird. I presume that would have been one of the many questions that they had, because Orgavoker's kind of broken a lot of things and they haven't done a great job balancing it, let's be honest. But it would be nice to hear some news on the support roles. It would be nice to know their plans or just perhaps things they're considering. And then we have one more thing on the list that I'm not really too bothered about myself, but I think it would be really good for the player base. They've been screaming out for it for so long, and so many other games have got it and do it really well, and that's player housing. I'm not quite sure how it would work. I think a couple of channels that I've been watching recently are talking about player housing on boats. I kind of feel like player housing, you need like your own plot of land, kind of like how Draenor did it with their own, is it like the garrison? I kind of feel like that would be the more ideal approach. I'm not quite sure how it would all work. It's not something that I would be very excited about. Who knows? You don't really know what they'd add. I think they could have done it with garrisons, and I think that might have been what they were trying to do, but player housing is definitely something I see them doing. I don't think they're going to speak about it, but I think it's something they should consider and do in the future. Let me know what you guys think of my predictions and everything that I think they should add into the game. But let me know what you guys are predicting in the comments below. All right, I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you did, a like would be much appreciated. Thank you so much to all of my Patreons, but that's me done. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.